mobile 2010's cute pony baby game with hidden disturbing gameplay. I suddenly remembered this game I played once as a kid. The game had a My Little Pony-esque art style. The gameplay highly resembled one of a game little kids play where you take care of a virtual baby at first, but then started turning into a really messed up game. I remember it had two versions of the game, one where it was clean, and the other with a title 18+ at the end of it with the same name as the clean one. You start out by cleaning and washing the baby pony, which I believe had white hair and pastel pink, purple and magenta mane and a unicorn horn and a diaper. Later in the game the baby starts to cry and you can start to hit it, only causing it to cry more. You can keep hitting it and bruises and cuts start showing up where you hit it. There's an option where you can pick up the baby and throw it onto the floor. Eventually, the more you do this, the baby starts bleeding everywhere and stops crying, supposedly dying. The baby stays this way until you close the game and open it back up again. This game scared me as a kid, but the reason I want to know if someone can find it for me is because I need to know it was real. Can anyone help me? Edit. Didn't mean to promote anything or send weird messages. I just needed to know if this was a real thing since I have issues with false memories and hallucinations. So I needed to know if this was just a thing I imagined or if this was an actual game. I haven't heard of this game in years. Many memories unlocked now. I'm not sure about you guys, but I strictly remember that there was one that I played when there was no choice to take care of it. You had to either kill it / hurt it and throw away the body or let it go. There was a different version when you actually took care of it, but that was a whole different app. I haven't found a single person that remembers it the way I do. In the version I played, you play as the teacher. Her name started with a C or something like that, and then I think you find / kidnap a filly and bring it back to your home, where then you bond it down, and as we all know, the disturbing part comes. You could customize the pony and whatnot, but I don't remember being able to take care of it. I remember trying to, but the game just won't allow it. It's very similar to the one everyone else describes, but it doesn't ever sound like the one I remember. Looking for info about 2010's mobile game called Joy Pony? Just a small warning, this game I'm talking about is quite disturbing, as it involves violence. I will not be going in depth or describing in vivid detail about said game, but I will be mentioning certain aspects of the gameplay. I want to keep this post clean, because I know this sub doesn't like NSFW topics. So, a summary, for those who do not know or remember this game, it was a mobile game, published sometime around the early 2010s on mobile. I can't remember if it was published on the App Store or Android, but it was most likely the App Store. It was a game where you took an abandoned filly / colt in and took care of it. You could bathe it, feed it, give it medicine, all the typical pet sim type stuff you'd expect of a kid's game. There was just one thing wrong, however. There were multiple features where you could harm the baby pony, like dropping it onto the floor, punching it, and also using a knife to cut it. Throughout the whole game, the baby cries and whines, seemingly always in distress. Even while you give it a bath, it is seen crying and whimpering in fear. Multiple children who are now adults in this fandom have played this game, as I was one of them and vividly remember playing it. I couldn't detect anything wrong with the game beforehand, but now, as an adult with a better grasp on the world, I get a sickly, deep pit in my stomach when I think of this game and watch the gameplay. There is something inherently disgusting and disturbing about this game. It was disguised as a cute pet sim where you took care of a baby pony, but you could also, for some reason, abuse it to a horrid extent, putting me under the impression that it was either specifically designed to be a shock game or a twisted fetish game. And it's not like the gameplay discourages you from hurting the pony, as the other elements such as feeding, bathing, etc. felt all like afterthoughts. There is no depth, no clean goal, and it all seems to lead the player back to exhausting every option until they have no other choice but to either quit the game or to see what happens when you click the knife button. With that being said, the reasons why I bring this up is because there is virtually no information I can find on this game, its developer/developers, or when it was officially published. The only places it remains playable are on emulation sites, and they don't seem to have any information on the origins of it. I have heard rumors of the original developer being into stuff of gross nature, if you understand what I'm hinting at, that they went to jail for certain crimes and slash or having things in their possession, but this is all hearsay. If anyone has information or even wants to share their own experience playing the game, please feel free to leave a comment. It just bothers me that this has stayed a relative mystery my entire life, and I have a sneaking suspicion that the OG dev might have something to hide. I remember being obsessed with My Little Pony as a kid, and I downloaded a bunch of My Little Pony games on my mom's phone, including this one. My older cousin was with me and I was showing her all the games, and when I showed her Joy Pony and I accidentally beat the baby pony up, and I didn't know what was happening, so I kept touching the screen where the pony was and I didn't know I was beating it up. It eventually died and I asked my cousin to tell me what was going on. She had a disturbed face and told me the pony died. My mom was next to me and I remember her saying, "In what kind of kid's game can a pony die?" And then she deleted it. I remember being scared of it. I unfortunately fell for this game as a small kid and ended up reaching the point where I don't think it was crying, but it would laugh non-stop. Like actually non-stop, and that scared the living shit out of me. I tried feeding it, I put it in bed, I left and came back, but it wouldn't freaking stop, and it terrified my probably 14-year-old self to the point I started a new game. But I legitimately didn't know they could get killed. I was literally so careful with mine for God knows what reason, but I do remember once having a baby pony getting a scratch that just won't heal. Even after bandaging it, I just randomly came here remembering the game and wondering if there was an engine where they began to grow up like in Angela. Turns out they were never meant to survive anyway, which is just disturbing. I remember playing this as a kid. You could throw it around and it would die, I think, and you could starve it, and there was this one version where you could hit it with like a whip. I remember this specific time where I threw it off the slide and I think it died. Guys, I think I was like 9. It sounds like one of those old Flash player games. You go to one of those sites and you'll find tons of messed up games like this. Some of those games really messed me up in my childhood. Holy shit, I hope this game was a fucked up nightmare I had as a kid. It's fucking real. I was looking for it to see if it was as bad as I remember. It is. It still is. They also made some other ones that aren't even trying to look like it's for kids. Those games are Pony Torture and Pony Torture 2. It literally is just about kidnapping a pony who stole a diary. You have the option to harm the pony, bandage them, and talk to them for information. The second game is the same thing but with better graphics, but it's only in Russian. I saw that page on the PC Gaming Wiki and I'm pretty sure the publish date is just for the version on Steam. However, I didn't know that the game was originally from Russia. That explains why not much is documented on it. It won't surprise me if it was just a shock game, created by early 2010s edgelords. It's a very reasonable and realistic explanation, being from that time period myself. Still, it's amazing it took years for the apps to be taken down, and it's probably one of the main reasons why monitoring what gets published on the App Store is stricter than before. The game's originally from Russia, so I'm guessing this is why information on it is so scarce, but I looked around in a site named the PC Gaming Wiki, and SteamDB listed its developers as Andy Belkov, Evgeny Osmond, and Igor Ponomaryev. As far as I know, it started off as a PC game but got ported to Android later. The site also lists its release date as 2017 and the publisher as Dio Alias Games. Though this may just apply to the one on Steam. The game sucked, in my opinion, but like you said, it's probably just a shock game. Everywhere where you can download it, it's marketed as a children's game and many people have fallen into its trap as children. Media specifically made to cater to this brand of depravity are usually distributed in spaces meant only for stuff like this, even nowadays. This one's likely just shock content because several games with different names but the same gameplay were made and published on the App Store, so easily accessible to kids who don't know any better. Jesus Christ. Is it Pony Torture? An old Android game where you beat up cute-looking ponies to the point of death. The only part it's missing is where you are nice to it in the beginning. Someone made this and was like, yeah, this is publishable. Well, I was also traumatized by this game. My mom was downloading me some MLP games because I loved ponies. I was like 4 or 5 then, so I don't really think it had any warnings. I was playing until my baby wasn't literally torn apart. I remember it having really poorly made bloody scenes like parts of the brain flowing out of the skull, etc. I cried and I was scared of anything pony related after that. It's sitting deep down in my brain till that day. I already had 2 nightmares about this game when I'm 16 now. From my research, I want to say that the creators of Joy Pony, a disgusting game exactly like the one you mentioned, have made 2 or 3 more games like it. That being said, I wish I hadn't found this Reddit post on my recommendation right after dinner because I'm a very curious person who went and searched it up and is now completely disturbed by its existence. I looked it up just out of curiosity. I mean, I'm into games that get straight to the point with killing the enemies with their guts spilling out. Yeah, I like Mortal Kombat. Also, I'm old enough to experience the miracle that Flash games were, if you know, you know. I expected this game to be like a parody, you know, like the devs would come up with the funniest ideas to screw around with MLP fandom. No, it's nothing like that. The game is legitimately disturbing. All these weird options, which you can use to torture the baby, and it cries in pain. And it's also not made in a parody kind of way. The cries are pretty much realistic. My theory is that the game was made to please all these weirdos that really enjoy the shit. Thanks for the reports, guys. That said, I'm very against censorship, and disturbingly, it looks like this game exists. In fact, there are a few with this exact theme. Guess people really hate My Little Pony. This is another one of those hard decisions, because it's totally messed up and not a theme we want to promote or direction for the sub, but it is indeed a game that does indeed exist, and that's what we are here for, to help others find them. So, anyways, my decision here is that it's a legitimate request and can stay, but users are warned not to click any links you don't want to click. Don't blame me if you see pony torture in a link to pony torture games, man. All that said, links to gore are unacceptable. Link to games, not screenshots, thank you. That seems fair. Some of y'all need therapy.